The shadow of Aduke's resilience. Shadow deepens. I came here to take your life in return. But now I see that your shame and downfall will haunt you. As the villagers turned their back on Mr. Dibble, Shifa felt a weight lifted from her shoulders. Yet her heart ached for Jide, who stood apart, his face etched with betrayal and sorrow. Jide withdrew to his mother, Aduke's compound, where he sat in silence for hours. Aduke, sensing his turmoil, approached him. "My son, the truth is painful, but it can only set us free," she said gently. "Mother," Jide replied, his voice trembling, "how can I face a world where the man I call father has brought so much shame and disgrace? And Shifa, how can I love her when we share blood?" Aduke placed her hands on his shoulder. "Love and pain often walk hand in hand, my son, but the heart knows its parts. Perhaps this is the time to seek clarity." Meanwhile, Shifa wrestled with her own demons. The letter had revealed more than she was prepared for. The depth of her grandfather's betrayal and the pain her mother endured. Yet her love for Jide burned brighter than ever. She resolved to stay in the village, not just for revenge, but to understand the life her mother had been forced to leave behind. As the days turned into weeks, the village buzzed with rumors. The elders debated on how to handle Mr. Dabo's disgrace. Some called for his exile, while others believed he should face the spirits of the land in penance. Miriam, frail and guilt-ridden, withdrew into solitude, her once fairy hatred replaced by a haunting regret. Shifa sought out Aduke one fateful evening. "Iyami," she began, her voice hesitant, "I wish to understand the man who caused so much pain. Perhaps you could help me." Aduke, though weary, but agreed, and together they unraveled the layers of Mr. Dabo's life, uncovering more secrets, business dealing, tainted with deceit, and connections to a powerful spiritualist who had promised him protection at a terrible cost. The revelations painted a picture of a man consumed by greed and fear, willing to sacrifice everything for power. The bond between Shifa and Aduke deepened, even as the tension between Shifa and Jide grew. Their love, forbidden yet undeniable, became the heart of the village's whispers. The spirits of the land seemed restless, and the elders warned of an impending reckoning. The village of Irele, under the weight of truths unspoken, secrets unveiled, and a love that dared to challenge the very fabric of tradition, Shifa and Jide found themselves at the heart of it all, their lives intertwined by destiny and divided by blood. There was a priestess of a shrine in the village. The priestess summoned both Shifa and Jide to the sacred ground. The villagers whispered amongst themselves as the two walked side by side, their presence a defiance of the spiritual warnings. The spirits demand a resolution. The priestess announced, "You too are bound by force greater than yourselves. Force that demands justice and reconciliation." Jide stepped forward, being brave. "What must we do?" he asked, his voice resolute despite the turmoil in his heart. "The curse that shadows your lineage is tied to a betrayal and pain," the priestess explained. "To break it, you must unearth every secret, confront every wrong, and seek forgiveness, not just from the spirits, but from those who have suffered." Shifa, her eyes blazing with determination, asked, "And if we fail?" "Failure is not an option," the priestess replied, "for the spirits will not rest until a balance is restored." The task was monumental. Jide and Shifa began their journey together, delving into the past with Aduke as their guide. They uncovered tales of Mr. Dabo's dealing with a spiritualist who had bound the family's fate in a dark ritual. The ritual, designed to ensure wealth and power, required a sacrifice, Hanatu's innocence. As the pieces fell into place, Shifa and Jide grew closer. Their love deepened despite the impossibility of their union. But their closeness did not go unnoticed. As Miriam, consumed by guilt and jealousy, began to plot once more, her mind a storm of conflicting emotions. Could she redeem herself by aiding the young couples? Or would her bitterness drive her to sabotage their quest? The climax came during the village gathering, where Shifa and Jide presented their findings to the elders. "This curse is not just our burden," Jide declared. "It is the village's shame, for it allowed these wrongs to fester. We seek your guidance to make things right," Jide said. The elders, moved by their courage, decreed that a cleansing ritual must be performed, one that will require participation of the entire village. But as preparations began, a shadowy fire moved in the night, intent on derailing their efforts. The sudden gust of wind whipped through the compound, extinguishing the lantern nearby. A low, guttural growl emerged from the darkness. Aduke's hand tightened on Jide's shoulder. "Jide, something is here," she whispered, her voice barely audible. A shadow shifted at the edge in their midst, and another on another edge. Jide rose to his feet, grabbing a wooden staff from the corner. "Show yourself," he demanded, his voice firm despite the fear coursing through him. From the darkness, a figure emerged, cloaked in tattered rags, and its glowing red eyes fixed on them. The dark creature's voice was a rasp, like dry leaves scraping stone. "You dare to disturb the peace of the ancestors?" it hissed, its word reverberating through the compound. Aduke stepped in front of Jide. "We seek no harm, only the truth," she said, her voice trembling but resolute. The creature lunged suddenly, its clawed hand striking the air inches from Aduke. Jide swung the staff with all his strength, striking the creature's arm. The impact sent a cracking echo through the night, but the creature barely flamed. Instead, it turned its attention to Jide. "You, the cursed child, shall pay for the sins of your father." Shifa Seeing the commotion, she froze at the sight of the dark beast, but quickly grabbed a lantern from the ground. "Jide, hold it off," she shouted, lightening the lantern and hurling it towards the creature. The flames erupted, casting an eerie glow across the compound. The creature recoiled, and its form flickering between solid and shadow. A chilling wail pierced in the air as the priestess of the village appeared, her voice chanting incantations. The creature twisted in pain, clawing at the ground as the priestess stepped forward. "This is just the beginning," she declared. "The curse of your lineage demands justice. Until the truth is faced, the spirits will not rest." She spoke aloud in midst of Jide, Aduke, and the villagers. With a final agonized scream, the creature dissolved into the night, leaving the compound silent except for the heavy breath of its occupant. Aduke sank to her knees, clutching Jide, while ahead is fraught with danger.